Today is Tuesday, April the 19th, 2022, and Chuck and I are at a Harvest Host stop for the night and decided this is the perfect place for our final van tour. The color is selenite gray metallic, and after a long search for a van and almost giving up on the idea, we picked her up as an empty cargo van at the end of October in Knoxville, Tennessee. We spent 5 months building her out, doing all the work ourselves. On the way home to Florida from Knoxville, we were surprised at how high the 4x4 was, so right away we added side steps to make it easier to get in and out. We love the rugged look and how practical these are because it allows you to scrape your shoes to get the dirt off of them before going inside. We have a larger one on the passenger side and a small one on the driver's side. We also added a CLR window with T-vents that open in the sliding door, along with smaller half-slide windows on both sides. In hindsight, I wish these were a bit bigger, but they are what they are for now. We added 30 amp inlet to be able to connect to the power grid when needed as well. We were not going to order our van with windows in the rear door, but this one came with it, and now we really like that we have them and ended up with this upgrade. The back, we also added an aluminum spare tire carrier from Owl Vans with the trasharoo cover for added trash storage. We have a factory installed 5,000-pound trailer hitch. On the driver's side, we added a fill inlet to fill our water tanks, and for safety reasons is also lockable, which is really nice. In addition, we added a flatline van company side ladder to access the roof. And finally, we have the vent for our burning toilet. We have 2 water tanks. These are 2 that are gravity fed from a 3rd tank inside the van under the bench seat, along with a Bosch 4-gallon hot water tank. This gives us a total freshwater capacity of 65 gallons. The roof rack is made of 80/20 aluminum, and it was one of the fastest projects that Chuck actually completed. The 80/20 arrived after lunch one day, and before lunch the next day, he was done building the roof rack. At the front and also at the back of the roof rack, we have some LED lights to help us be able to see better in the dark when needed. And Chuck has wired these to a few dummy switches by the steering wheel inside the van. Now we have 2 solar panels for a total of 350 watts of solar. We also have 3 max air fans, one in the front and one in the back, which provides excellent airflow through the van. The 3rd fan is a vent for the toilet. In the middle, we have a Dometic 2000 RTX 12-volt air conditioner. It puts out a ton of cold air inside. And we love our Dometic 9500 automatic awning with LED lights. It provides great shade for sitting outside and has a wind sensor to close if automatically to prevent any damage to it from strong winds. We added a WeBoost Drive Reach RV cell phone signal booster. We also have this great Trex decking in the back for hanging out. Alright, so here is the compact controller for our electrical. It's in a very tight space under the hamper, which is here. We have the power, we've got our Lynx distributors, we've got a solar charge controller back there, a Servo GX. The battery bank is in here. It's by cells that Chuck built. It has 4 cells to make a battery, and then 4 different batteries, I think, linked together in series to make one huge battery. And it has a BMS that connects to all of it that helps maintain it and keep the cells consistent. The Victron inverter, there is one here, and then there is one over here. We were only going to do one, but because our toilet sucks up so much energy, we decided that we needed to do a second one so that we didn't have to worry about running a couple of things at one time. And those are 3,000 watt inverters each. All right. The second alternator has been the biggest frustration and really the only major problem of our entire build. We purchased the nation's 3-belt dual alternator kit with 12-volt 280 XP high amp alternator. It came pre-programmed for lithium batteries with a Balmar external regulator with harness. So far, the alternator has burnt out 3 times. The first 2 times in under a minute, and the third time it was longer, but it still burnt out. We've done everything we can, including to the point of installing an alternator protection module. Chuck has the alternator unplugged today, but we'll find out tomorrow if the latest attempt is successful or not. I'll do a separate video on our alternator problems just in case it helps others, and hopefully the story doesn't end with us making a trip to Missouri. As you can see, we have a bug screen for the sliding door. It was a great magnetic closure that we can walk through or pull open if we need to. I made this using pieces from 2 pre-made screens. It was time consuming, but relatively easy. Being able to tailor it was great because now it's out of the way for our folding table. So this folds out for support. You undo the latch here and then pull it down. And you can see that we have our outdoor folding table. Underneath we have a great little shoe caddy. And so now let's head inside. We have factory installed swivel front seats, which we love. It just gives you this extra seating area, which is great. Over the seats, we have the ancillary shelf kit that gives us added storage for sunshades I made, and a piece of our lagoon table. At first I was not excited about losing the headroom above the seats, but actually it's not bad at all, and very practical to have the extra storage. Behind the driver's seat, we have a storage unit. So far we have our fire extinguishers, paper towels in here, and not sure what we're going to put in the top yet. Alright, so here's the controller for our diesel heater. It is located as a space-saving technique under the passenger's seat up front, and the vent is focused towards the back. We don't plan to go super cold places, so we think that this is going to be adequate for us. There is an exhaust that Chuck put that's underneath the van. Here we have various fold-down clips that allow us to hang hats, coats, and purses, and we think that'll be pretty useful. We have the control for the first max air fan in the front, a USB power, and then we have this lagoon table mount, which we will use in the front seats. And this is great because we can come here where we store the table, unlatch it, open it. It takes a little tweaking to pull it out. Alright, so I pulled the table out earlier, but we did not have the lagoon table mount up front. It actually also is in a position back here to create a dining room sitting area in the back with our bench seating. So Chuck moved it up front so that now you can see how we can use it here with the driver's seat, and this is probably where we're going to eat dinner at tonight. Quickly, let's talk about the sliding glass door area. We found this to be one of the hardest parts to actually decide what to do. We ended up building out this little box area and carried the factory light out so that we'd have a light as we come in, and then we put our awning controller here because that came in last minute. We had to put up some upholstery to help hide some of the wiring. The awning control is here, and then we have our little speaker stored right there. Alright, so quickly I will show you. This is the pre-molded insert that we got from Overland Sprinters, and it has little cubby holes in here so that you can store things. We did have to take some of our Thinsulate out because these are pretty deep, but we just thought the more storage we had and to make this nice and clean that this is a really good compromise. Now let's move on to the kitchen. The star of our kitchen is definitely the countertops. We poured epoxy over wood to create these. We love how they turned out, but it's nothing like what we intended when we started. In fact, we want to redo the countertops now on our boat with epoxy because we love these so much. I highly recommend the epoxy from Stone Coat Countertops. They have a great product, lots of good training videos, and very helpful staff answering your questions. We added the ultimate top coat, which gave this a matte finish. I don't know how well it will show up, but it was much prettier with the gloss finish, so I wish we had done the high gloss top coat, and if we had it to do over, that's what we would do. And maybe one day we'll do it, but right now we're not in any hurry to do more work on the van right now. Since I'm going to be the dishwasher, I really wanted a big sink. This is a 19-inch undermount stainless steel sink. I think it gives me plenty of room to do dishes because Chuck loves to cook and I love to eat. We have an Akuva faucet for water filtration. Love this. All you do is turn it. It has filters and it's not on now, but this would turn blue whenever it's actually going through the UV light process to help cleanse the water along with the filters underneath. We have a huge faucet. Let's take a look at the cabinets. First up, we have our finished pantry. This is our first pantry of 2 pantries. Or we don't have a lot of things in there, but there's lots of room for storage. Under the sink on the left side, we have a pull-out trash can. On the right side, we have our cleaning products, towels, our collapsible dish strainer, and we have our paper towel holder. Wasn't the greatest place to put it, but it was better than any place else we could think of to use. In the top drawer, we have our silverware, and we have these great knives that have covers over them. And this is a great way to protect you and keep you safe. We have had these on our boat for a few years, and we really like them. In the second drawer, we have bowls, all kinds of collapsible strainers, and miscellaneous pot holders and things for cooking. In the bottom drawer, we have what will be our pots and pans, baking, cutting board, cool dividers that we found online are great for helping to keep things separated. And then underneath with the foot kick, we actually have some very simple pull out with Velcro, lots of extra storage, so we wanted to use every space that we could. And so that is down there all the way across the floor here. In the top shelf here, we have some additional utensils. And then above here, we have our plates. I put these soft felt in between to help keep it from cluttering. Bowls, we have glasses, and then Chuck has his coffee making supplies, and then some more bowls for storage. Underneath, we have a spice rack from IKEA and LED lighting and a glass backsplash. So let's go to the other side now to finish the kitchen review. We've got our isotherm fridge and freezer. As I mentioned, we like to cook. It has great storage in the doors. And then the freezer is down here. Probably, I don't know that there's anything in it. There's not, but you've got a lot of room, as you can see. Up here, we have our combination air fryer, boiler, microwave, convection oven. Really, really cool. You have to be careful with what you put in here when you're cooking, because you have to use the right trays and the right kind of pans. But it even does combination cooking. So if you want to broil and then air fry, then you can do that, because that's one of the choices. And didn't even know this existed, but I think it's a great space saver. Next, we have our second pantry for supplies, and this is really a lot more organized, probably more organized than our house, because I got these little containers in order to label things and put in here. Now let's go back and let's talk about the bathroom that we skipped. First off, we have this full-length mirror on the outside. It's held up with command strips, And I like it because it is acrylic, so it is non-glass. If it falls off, it won't really create a big problem. Inside, we have glass tile on the wall. We have a shower head. We have our soap dispenser. This is antibacterial soap, so it's because we don't have a sink to wash your hands in, so this will work just fine. We've got shampoo, we've got body wash. Down here we have a thermostatic controller for the shower. The temperature is preset over here, so you never have to touch this again. All you do is turn the water on this side. Down here I have like some additional items that I needed because I wanted a corner shower caddy, but everything was just ginormous, so we came up with this compromise with the little cloth one. We have a curved shower curtain next to the light and the fan in the ceiling. And with this, we pull it around, and then I have some extra clips in order to help it stay in place so it doesn't get the door wet, and also some extra weights at the bottom to help it stay in place that we just added. And you curve it around, it keeps the toilet clean and dry, and then it keeps our towels, which are on the back of the door, dry as well. Finally, we have the toilet. This is the Infinite toilet. You lift the lid, pull out the paper, place it in the toilet, do your business, hit the button or the pedal here. When you hit the pedal, then the silver part opens up and then everything falls through. You close the lid and you press the button and that starts it. It is a big power hog, so we got to use it sparingly, but we have a big battery bank, and the second alternator, hopefully if we ever can get it to work, will be something that will be good to be able to keep it going. This way we don't have to deal with black water. We have a tray down here that we pull out, and once a week then we'll dump that ashes into the trash, so it makes it very, very convenient. We added this battery controlled light because it was nice to come in when you go to the bathroom at night and just be able to have a little bit of light. And here we have our storage for toiletry items, extra towels, extra toilet paper, a pee pail in case we are out in the woods and we can use that to conserve, and then our toothbrushes and other toiletry items in the top. And the rest of the drawers here, we're going to have underwear storage in these two. In this drawer, we're going to have some shelving where we can put our clothes. In this cabinet, we have our hanging storage. I don't have a lot in here right now, but I think it will hold a ton of hanging storage. It's not very tall, especially because the wheel well is underneath some of this. So I got these hangers. They're called high hangers, and they take up a lot less space here in order to hang things. And they're working out, I think, really, really well. Okay, so let's move on. We have another drawer for storage down here, and we have some miscellaneous storage over here on this side. In the back, this little hole here is a hamper, so I made a hamper bag. It's got Velcro, so it clicks to the sides, and the handles are folded over on the side. And this is where we'll store clothes, dirty clothes. We've got extra USB, the controller for the MaxxAir fan, rod holders for our fishing rods, more USB, and then we have the bench seating. As I mentioned earlier, the hot water tank and another water tank are under this bench here. The cushions I made, they're 3 inches on the bottom, 4 inches in the back, and I still want to make some pillows, but I think this is good enough for now. We have to duck a little bit to get under here because of the bed, but it's really not too bad. So now let's talk about the bed. We knew we didn't want to make the bed every day, so we wanted a bed that was on a lift. This is on 4 actuators. It is held up with 80/20 that also helps support it. That's connected into the walls to keep it square. When it comes down, it will actually rest on the countertops. So we have to keep everything off of the countertops that's within this area when it comes down. Alright, so this is the Tower of Power. This is the hub of the controls for all the van. Chuck squeezed it all into this really small space with 3 sides, so that everything would be easy to access and easy to see. First, we have the controllers for the bed and the 4 actuators. So this is up, this is neutral, and this is down, and these are the 4 controllers for each actuator. Each one also has its own speed controls. You can see these are a little bit different because the wires, I think, are ran differently. But all you do when you want to put the bed down is you hit down on all the controllers, and then you come over here to the control panel for the bed lift and turn that on. As you can hear, it's not very loud. All right. As you can hear, it's not very loud, but it does make a little bit of noise. It comes down pretty good. It rests on the countertop. I think these are high countertops at 36 inches, and that helps distribute the weight when we're on the bed. You'll notice that the pillows are missing, and that's because the top of the van curves upward, so it gets skinnier as you get to the top, and we thought we could just throw the pillows kind of in the middle here, but we found that it provides a little bit of resistance whenever the bed is going up. So for now, we just stored the pillows in another place. It is a mattress. It's memory foam. It still is a little high for trying to get in, so Chuck installed these heavy-duty supports which pull out and lock. All right, it pulls out and it locks, and so then you can stand here and get up into the bed. I can actually sit in the bed. We put the bed back up, but one last thing I forgot to mention is this is only a full-size mattress because that's the widest and the best that we could get for when it gets taller to the ceiling and it's skinny. But the 6 inches actually sleeps really well. And being a full size, I was worried at first, but we tend to sleep in the middle of the bed anyway, so it doesn't really feel uncomfortable. It feels plenty big enough. So back to the Tower of Power. Underneath the bed lift controls, we have the gray tank for underneath the sink that I mentioned earlier, and the tank for underneath the shower that I mentioned. You hit these buttons when you're in a place where you're allowed to dump. It opens the valve and then the water just dumps out. So it's super easy, really nice to have those. The Victron Multi-Plus is what we use in order to turn on the inverter. We have a nice plug here, and then we have a USB outlet there. If we move to the front, you'll see that we have our Paneltronics, 12 volt on the top and 120 volt on the bottom. In between, we have the Victron control panel, which tells you what our batteries are at, how much power we're taking in, and how much power we're charging with the solar. This is really great information to be able to have on this color monitor. At the top for the 12 volt, we have our refrigerator, fans, bed lift, water pressure, floodlights, spreader lights, multiple lights, and then multiple accessories on one controller. Down on the bottom, we have our main 30 amp, our fridge, water heater, toilet, microwave outlets, and GFI outlets. On the right side, we have the controls for the lights, the main controls, the lights under the bed, and then the garage light here. And then we have another small WeBoost accessory to help make the WeBoost work. I will note that under the bed, Chuck has the wiring that goes through here for the lights as it goes up and down, and that also controls some of the wiring for the LED strip that we have under the bed. All right, so in the garage, we have another bug net. I really like it. I took a super big net and I cut it down. I put some leather across the top, so that made it easier to start with a flat, smooth, straight line in order to install the pre-made net. I then cut down all the sides to fit the curve in the bottom, and I put some weights in the bottom to help keep it in place. The van came with the back windows, as I mentioned earlier, so we have these little storage pockets in the back of both sides that we stuck a few things in. But in the garage here, we had hoped to have bikes, but we just don't have enough room. What we do have is on the left is our plumbing side, as I mentioned earlier. So in here we have some storage, which includes like the hoses to fill our water tank. We have an outdoor shower that we can unlock here and set up. We have our grill, we have our rug, we have a foldable table, we have go treads, which allow you to level off the van. We have a little additional place here behind our clothes where we can store some additional things in there. And then on the right side, we have our electrical side. This has the, let me undo this. On the electrical side, we have our solar shutoff breaker for the solar panels. I have power cord, and I made this cute little bag in order to try to keep the van cleaner because the power cord will get dirty, as will the hose, so we made a bag for that as well. And then in here is back where the battery and all the electrical stuff is that I showed you earlier. Out here we have a collapsible brush for sweeping out the van and an extra power outlet in case we need power outside for any reason. We are sagging 1.5 to 2 inches in the back. We plan to hit the Catskill on the way home tomorrow, and our wish list definitely includes some suspension upgrades. This is the only thing that Chuck said since the start of our build that he wanted done professionally. Hi everybody. We went to the Catskill. We weighed a whopping 11,000 pounds. We knew we were going to weigh a lot, and that's why we bought the 3500 dolly so that we could support that weight. But obviously we need a suspension upgrade. We've gone ahead and we've booked that appointment. It is going to be in July, the earliest that we could get in and get the parts done. We are going to Freedom Van Go. They are located in Jacksonville, Florida, and they are a dealer for Van Compass. I had actually no idea what we were getting into on how much work this van was going to be. Chuck, being in a construction background, he knew what we were getting into. He also watched a lot of YouTube videos from people like 70 Savage and Humble Road, and those really helped a lot. So I hope people get some good ideas from what we've done in our van build video and have an idea of the work that it takes to finish. I know it's really hard when you're in the middle and you think you're never going to get done. It can be kind of depressing at times. But you will get to the end, so just keep pushing forward. It's going to be totally worth it when you're finished. When we look back now, we kind of don't remember all of the pain and agony we were going through. But we are super excited to get out there and hit the road. We've done a couple of nights over, we've done a couple of overnight stays at Harvest Host, but we haven't done any long trips. So we are looking forward to doing maybe a 2-week trip. And we've decided we're going to go to the Louisiana Bayou because we love to eat and they have great food in Louisiana, and we want to fish, and there's some good fishing opportunities there. So hopefully we're not staying at RV parks. The last big issue we have is our alternator. So I hope we're going to get our alternator to work so that we can get out there and really enjoy our trip and test out all of the systems in the van. So thanks to everybody for watching, and hope to see you all somewhere out there on the road.